All right, guys, Good Old Boy 32 here. Check it out. We're sitting out at the 1,000 yard range, and yes, we have the Palmetto State Armory. This is their AR10 Gen 1 that we went through, and we've done some upgrades. I want to quickly go over those upgrades with you. First of all, we added this Luth AR. This is their carbine length stock. It's all adjustable every way. I still have mixed feelings about this, simply because I like my equipment to be simple. And if it's not going to be simple, well, a lot of times it just adds more difficulty than it needs to be. Am I saying this is a bad stock? No, I'm just saying for me personally, it's not something that I really like. And it's from the point where you've got certain areas that just personally, they don't work for me. The exposed or expanded stock, you can move it, elevate it up and down. Again, like I said, keep it simple. Is it a good stock? I think it could be great for somebody who's into this kind of thing. Secondly, what did we do? We went ahead and added a Delton 2-stage trigger, 120 bucks, and you can really feel the difference from the nitty-gritty of the original trigger that was in his. So we're pulling it about a 4 pound on the second stage. Not bad. We could do a little bit better if we'd worked on the trigger. I've got one of these particular triggers down to about 2 pounds. Love it. As a matter of fact, if I may switch out the trigger later on in the 6.5 Creedmoor with that 2 pound trigger. Thirdly, what did we do? We went ahead and free floated the barrel with this DR Guns 15-inch barrel made for the AR10. We put an 18-inch barrel on it. It's DC machine owned by Palmetto State Armory. Now their quality control is brought in from some very high-end manufacturers. I'll leave those unnamed. And then we put an ERG muzzle brake on it, 3-chamber muzzle brake. And literally, guys, that muzzle brake took this thing into feeling like this huge abrupt from the A2 muzzle brake to just like a plush feeling firearm. It's a joy to shoot now. So what did we do? Well, yesterday I took it out, zeroed it in at 100 yards using the ZQI ammo. It was horrible groupings, about 4 inches at best. Maybe even zeroed in to maybe 3 inches. But what I wanted to do was break the barrel in. I wanted to put some copper in the barrel, and then now we're going to take it out to 200 yards, and I'm going to use this right here. This is the Federal Premium Ammunition, or Gold Medal Sierra Match King, and see how we can do. Now there's a target out there at 200 8-inch round. I got a camera on it, so let's go ahead and load up a few rounds and see how we go. Stand by. 175 grain Sierra Match King. Now I was going to go ahead and download the after we get done zeroing it in at 200, I've got the sheet, which is pretty close on this deal. We're going to see if we can go ahead and ring that steel up there at 1,000 yards with it. Should be interesting. Here we go. All right, so one of the things about the Luth AR stock, you can't pull the charging handle back if it's collapsed unless you got it pulled back and with this thing raised up. I have found I actually like the cheek weld on this, but I don't like it elevated. One, primarily because this scope is centered down low. But if it was a competition scope where you had it raised up real high, or an optic, this might be optimal. Here we go, man. 200 yards. Well, so I'm thinking we need to come up about 2.5 inches and pull it right. Let's go ahead and put 3 more rounds and see where those land. We got a little bit of a wind out there, but I don't think it's dragging it to the right that much. Let's come back. And one of the things I love about this rifle also is that it is using the Strike Industries gas block, and it's working just fine. We're getting a trajectory and ejection at about the 4 o'clock position. That's where it's supposed to be. All right, well, that'll work. So we have 7 rounds to hit the 1,000 yard gong. Can I even see it with this scope? Let's find out. Well, all right, guys, we're here up at the 1,000 yard mark. We're going to go ahead and try to, wow, really? What the hell is this guy doing? Oh, he must cut. All right, guys, we're sitting up here at the 1,000 yard mark, shooting from all the way down there with the AR10 Gen 1 Palmetto State Armory. And again, 18-inch barrel, free floated it. We've got a muzzle brake on it, 2-stage trigger. Not to say that the stock is anything special, but the Luth AR stock. I don't think that's going to affect us when we're bench shooting. And what else we have? We're shooting with the Nikon P308. Not the greatest, but it'll do. So let's get on down there and get to it. Fresh coat of paint on our steel. Hopefully I don't hit the camera. Stand by. All right, so we're sitting back down here. I've gone ahead and tried to raise this thing up. I'm getting roughly about 34 MOA out of it. We really wanted to get about 38 and a half, even more, according to the book. So what we're gonna do, I got Lance's on the spotting scope for me. He's right back there. And then we're just gonna hit one and see where it tracks to, and we'll adjust from there. The idea is just to try to see if we can get this thing to shoot. Here we go. Turn my hat around here. Because, you know, if you have your hat turned around, you shoot better. So what we're doing is I'm going to be shooting way up there. Here we go. All right, so you ready?
Yep.
Way low.
Way low.
Oh my God.
Still way low.
Okay.
I couldn't see that impact. Dirt, right elevation, you're off to the right about 3 or 4 feet. You hit it.
I hit it?
Wait. No, that was dirt right below it. There's like a speck on it though. It looks like it might have kicked up and hit it, but
I don't know where I'm hitting now.
did you hit it that time?
Wind is swirly, baby. All right, well, that's all the rounds we got. Well,
It looks like you did hit it twice though.
we'll figure it out here in a minute. I think that if we had, that's probably 40 rounds through this barrel, and I think with a little bit more time. 18-inch barrel for an AR10, using it for precision, you're going pretty good. So a couple more inches, 20, 24 inches, would have been really, really good. So with that being said, I think we did all right. We're gonna get it back up there and see what the camera says. You guys are seeing it before we are, and that's about it. Wind is kicking bad, but again, pretty good deal. We went with a pretty decent upgrades. The Luth AR stock, not bad. Got a 2-stage trigger. We've got a free float barrel and handguard and a nice muzzle brake. Really nice transition from where we were before. All right. So first of all, I'd like to thank my spotter who was just doing a great job telling me where I was. But I ultimately, the first rounds, because what it was saying was, well, with the ballistics being for that specific round, with a 24-inch barrel, we were shooting out, of course, out of an 18-inch barrel. The rounds were hitting probably 20, 30 yards up there.
Yeah.
And then just some adjustment and boom, 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 walking in. I couldn't see the hits with that scope. because it was as foggy as anything. But that's pretty cool, man. I'm really impressed. One, this just shows that either I was lucky or that barrel and those rounds did, and the trigger system and that muzzle brake did their job, as well as that free flow. So I want to thank the guys over at DRG, DR Guns LLC. DC machine, that barrel that Palmetto State Armory produces. Guys, if you ever have a question about those things, there it is. Delton trigger and a Gen 1 Palmetto State Armory AR10. Thanks, guys. That's it, man. I'm very excited about that. And like you said, you guys saw it before we did. And with that being said, God bless America. God bless us men, women in uniform, 24/7 for our freedoms. Freedom's not free. Sometimes it comes in a 308 out of an 18-inch barrel. That shit's bad. Bow!
Dude, lucky 3 out of 7 times. I'll take that.
That's lucky. I got lucky.
Yeah. Well.
Whatever. All right, paint her up.